in terms of the abuse when it comes to the marine environment, you have more than 80% of the world's fish stocks are at or beyond the point of collapse. They've been overfished. You also have a rampant problem of illegal fishing. So the state of affairs at sea are pretty bleak.
One major strategy that environmentalists talk about is to raise fish in farms on land or in pens close by the shore.
That's quite right. The problem there is that sort of fishing requires you to feed the fish, to fatten them up faster, get them to market. And so historically, to feed those fish in high protein fashion relied on soy, but in the last couple decades, we've shifted to grinding up fish into these pellets and powder called fish meal to feed to the other fish in the fish farms, which makes no sense because it's now accelerating the worsening of the problem that they were trying to solve, which is ocean depletion. And so you might have 1 pound of tuna equating to 25 pounds of wild caught forage fish. So you're collapsing the food chain essentially.
What sorts of fish do they use for fish meal?
The fish that end up as fish meal tend to be called forage fish or trash fish that tend to be smaller fish that are not economically viable to sell, but they're essential for the food chain within the marine environment.
And ultimately, the break in that chain means fewer large fish for humans to eat at the apex of the system.
It means less food for us. It also means the oceans die. If the seas run out of marine life, the ocean stops serving a key purpose. I mean, the ocean produces 50% of the air we breathe. It's a huge carbon sink, which is to say it filters the air. So it's not just a protein and sustenance issue for humans. It's also a global stability, climate change issue as well.
Where is the overfishing for fish meal most prevalent?
Africa, and specifically West Africa, is kind of the tip of the spear here when it comes to places in the planet where there's still a robust nearshore fish stocks that attracts the attention of huge foreign industrial commercial boats.
And a great many of those boats and factories are Chinese owned.
China is the big player. And Senegal, Mauritania, the Gambia, for example, are being combed for this very market. So in the last decade, 14 factories have been built in those 3 countries alone just to produce fish meal. And hundreds upon hundreds of large boats are in those coastal waters, scooping up fish that for centuries have been the main source of protein for local survival. The bonga fish, for example, in Gambia was so plentiful and essential that when you went to the market in Gambia, you would get bonga for free as you bought other types of fish. Now the bonga is hard to get, it's extremely expensive, and most of it that's caught is going into the fish meal plants to be ground up and exported for aquaculture farms so that these foreign countries can feed cod or salmon or shrimp that then get resold to more expensive clients in the developed West. And to make the irony even darker, those Gambians that are now priced out of getting their own bonga are instead importing chicken from countries like China that are extracting the fish that they could be getting from their own waters.
I know that in your very intrepid reporting in West Africa, you found horrific labor conditions on the boats themselves. Give us some background.
On the boats that we boarded, these were Chinese boats in Gambian waters. They typically had a couple Chinese officers, and then the rest were African crew. And most of the crew were not actually Gambians. They were Senegalese because they're cheaper. And then the living conditions and working conditions on these boats generally brutal. 20-hour work days and really unsafe sleeping conditions and no medicine if you get sick and not proper gear. So these guys are working in flip-flops or barefoot using dangerous equipment, etc. And so on this Earth Day, think about the people and the marine life that are beyond the horizon and educate yourself about what's happening to them, because what's happening at sea above and below the waterline matters a lot.